You do go down to your first matchup of the day, you still got plenty of time to catch up. But speaking of time, it is time for game number 1 here between FaZe and version 1. It is the up-and-coming roster here of version 1 with their brand new shiny piece in Daniel versus a FaZe Clan who walk away from the Winter Major just a little bit disappointed. Maybe trying to get that first place, that trophy in the cabinet here in the SteelSeries Cup.
Well, no matter what, one of these top teams is going to fall early on, but like you said, Bass, it's a double elimination bracket, so nothing to be too worried about. But it's a good warm-up match when it comes to FaZe Clan versus V1. I like that carryover there by a Beast Mode who's not able to get the follow-up to it. First Killer finding a bit of a clear. It's stalled here at the midfield line. First Killer gets a touch here to pass over to Mist and just back over to version 1. We're going to see a lot of back and forth clears to start this one out, I think.
Yeah, it's a little bit of testing the waters on either side. Not necessarily too surprising, considering, again, these are two somewhat shaky rosters. For FaZe Clan, they're very well aware of how to play. They're not really shaky by any stretch. The only reason I say that is because this team's probably rethinking a lot of their strategies, the ways that they play. Coming out of the Winter Major with a second place, as good as that might be, a little dissatisfying for this FaZe Clan team, who have been looking for greatness, not just good enough. So, this team may be trying to go through some new strategies here today, some new rotations, try and test it out if they can, versus a version 1 who, well, everything's going to be a test out for them. Brand new squad, brand new roster who really do need to prove themselves. And here in this tournament today with $10,000 on the line in their first matchup against FaZe, what better way to test?
Absolutely. They have been doing a lot of scrims that they've actually been streaming recently, so that's been very cool. We've been able to kind of see how Daniel's been doing, but he just so recently joined. He gets a nice shot on goal there with the flip reset, but doesn't quite have the momentum available to lock in the first goal. It's just about a minute and a half into regulation, and still we have very few shots on goals and actual saves going through here. Maybe the first one as version 1 gets a hit towards FaZe Clan's goal line, but nope. It's going to be a nice turnaround here. A pass over to First Killer. He gets the shot, and that will be it. I was wrong, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, listen, sometimes it's just one little breakaway, and it's all that you need. Typical, sees this doink out of midfield. Beast Mode rushing back as quickly as he can, recognizing the fact that Calm's not going to be there in time, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. Version 1 go down early here against FaZe Clan. 2 minutes gone, though. Plenty of time for a comeback out of version 1. Although, one fear that we had about this new roster has seemingly already been shown. Their cohesion, their ability to hold that midfield line as it used to be with Torment on the squad, a little bit lackluster for now. But again, with so much time and so much space, maybe eventually they can get back into this one as we get towards the halfway mark.
You know, I always, Daniel maybe can find the double touch. Darn, no rebound play, but there it is, of course. It's Calm. He's going to find the second one and tie things up as we get closer to halfway through this match number 1.
Daniel, nice little 1-2 there, but the real thing that ends up doing in all of FaZe is the light double commit there out of First Killer. He doesn't really trust Mist on that first touch, kind of comes in and tries to fill in that gap, but all it really does is open up a large enough of a gap that Calm can shoot on target. Not exactly how FaZe Clan wanted to hold on to their lead, but the good thing for them, plenty of time for a response. Halfway through game number 1 here in this best of 5, we're all even at a goal apiece. It changed quickly, though. First Killer trying to catch the defense off guard, but Beast Mode out at midfield will very quickly fire back with a pinch of his own. The Cucks are off the sidewall, almost able to find the back of the net, if not for a FaZe Clan that were well prepared for the fire back the other way. Speaking of which, First Killer trying to fire one on target, but goes just a little bit high, and Daniel in the opposite corner will be waiting to keep the possession in favor of version 1. It's a little bit of back and forth here, Jolly. Both teams starting to get a little bit more aggressive in that first minute of play, as we're seeing 50-50 after 50-50, which almost results in another FaZe Clan goal, if not for the shot out of Mist going off target.
Yeah, that was a nice one. They had the front post and the back post coverage, actually. So version 1 ensuring that they have some sort of control here to try to get that out of the defensive zone. Of course, it's FaZe once again back on the oppressive. It's a pass over to Mist. Daniel winning out on that challenge, and Typical is going to be able to find a demo here. Can they turn that into a goal? Not before all 3 members get back onto the pitch. Daniel's going to be there to receive.
It's just kind of going back and forth right now. Not a lot of development on either side. Both teams making very desperate dives just to try and find some sort of string of plays that they can put together, but no one really able to do that so far here. But again, it's game number 1. It's going to take a while for the teams to warm up. Typical seems to be rather warm, though. Calm has to make a save on the line, and a double commit there out of version 1 means that this possession should stay in favor of FaZe Clan here. They try for yet another approach, but First Killer, no boost left as he dives off the ceiling. That'll be enough now for version 1 to break out and go the other way, but right back onto their half. again, this ping pong match here just continues to ensue, and a double commit out of version 1 could have spelled doom if not for beast mode. Clearing that one out off the ceiling. 50 seconds to go. Both teams getting their opportunities. First killer looking for another one there, but Calm off the backboard will dribble this out and give his team a chance the other way.
That was a nice dribble, carried it almost all the way across the pitch, but it still wasn't good enough. So many more shots on goal coming through, like you were talking about, Bass. A lot more momentum moving forward as we get into the last 30 seconds of game number 1. Could we be seeing a game 1 overtime? I would not be surprised. We know how close these two teams have always been, and in particular now with the addition of Daniel, who's been around for a long time and is an absolute prodigy at only 16 years old. Certainly something that we hope to see out of version 1 as they continue to improve. First killer, it's a nice pass over, an attempt to Sipical. It's going to be a big carry around. There's the flip reset coming out of beast mode, but it's a challenge that once again goes in favor of FaZe Clan. The last couple of seconds, can V1 find one more shot, one more goal, or will this ball touch the ground and turn us into OT? We get it right off the bat, Baz. Overtime in game number 1.
Yeah, this is why I was saying every game today is going to be pretty close. Version 1 and FaZe Clan got a lot to prove here. FaZe Clan early start, but unfortunately it's the fire back from version 1 that has now kept them on the ropes here as we head into overtime. I really don't know who to predict in this first game, nor into the series overall, but it feels like right now it is FaZe Clan who are bearing down on this ball, getting the aggression work out in their favor as they go into the corner. But a bump there could throw a little bit of a wrench in the spanner here, as all of a sudden Calm gets a chance the other way, off the ceiling and off the backboard, but light touch out of Sipical almost finds its way into the back of the net. First killer has to make a save, but scary scenario there for FaZe Clan as we get into overtime.
Oh, what a shot. The upper 90 there by Mist. Calm is going to get there just in time, though, to turn it away. Sipical with some nice positioning as well. Not going to be able to keep this one in the corner. It does go in favor of FaZe Clan, though, but actually Daniel coming out ahead in a little bit of a challenge there in the corner. Mist gets it around 1. Beast mode goes in to take over. Goes over to the corner, and it's a shot opportunity, but first killer's not going to be able to get there in time.
This one kind of just a race on either end. Teams, again, that aggression we talked about that was developing throughout game number 1 has not dissipated whatsoever here in overtime. Although, weak touch out of Daniel could cause a little bit of a stall here on both teams. Never mind. This one goes sky high out to center. Reverse killer looking for a double touch. It's actually a pass out to Sipical, but Daniel will cut that one out. And with a demo in space, this could be the goal for version 1. But the shot goes off target. Beast mode sees the clear skies, tries to rip one on, but as it goes off the bar and out, version 1 are going to have to try again 90 seconds into overtime.
Ooh, this is already such a great series. We get closer to 2 minutes into OT. Already almost 7 minutes of playtime, and neither of these teams is willing to let anyone through. A nice little tip by Daniel. It's going to stall in the corner here. Calm, not quite a double commit, but it does go for version 1 as we head over to the blue side of the field. There's that 100 picked up by Mist. Going to move in to try to support first killer on this shot. All 3 members of version 1, though, are there on the defensive.
And it just feels like everybody kind of waiting for their turn at the ball, if you will. It is version 1 who keep on trying to play this offensive game, but how long can they hold it up? Apparently at least a couple seconds longer. Daniel with a beautiful clear on the line and follow up out of beast mode. Now a chance the other way here for version 1. Pass out center, Daniel's there. Shot not going to be enough. First killer easily turns that one away. As we get a half a game extended into OT, we are no closer to finding our final goal. As again, both teams have had huge chances here, Jolly, just nobody able to get past the stellar defense on either side.
Oh my goodness. And you know, I do think part of that, Baz, is just going back to what you were saying, kind of waiting for that kind of reactive play, right? If you can make a proactive play out of a reactive play, that's a really good case for overtime, but the problem is how far do you want to put yourself out there, right? Both of these teams playing this one very carefully and very close to the chest. It is a best of 5 to start things out, not a best of 7. So both of these teams know that while there is still that buffer for this game number 1, you got to be real careful going into game number 2. Because the last thing you want for game 3 is a match point and the opportunity for a sweep.
Yeah, really at this point, it's about trying to get the momentum in your favor early. And I will say, whoever walks away with this will have undoubted momentum. Could it be beast mode? No, the flip reset, just a little lackluster. Can't quite lock into the follow-up touch. But a couple of demos causing calamity. This is what Calm is known to do. And with the amount of chaos that he has created, eventually an opening will be found. Version 1, that little mosquito you just can't swat. And eventually they get a goal because of it.
And that was a beautiful goal. It was a fantastic pass over as well. Beast mode going to lock that one in. So version 1 is going to take game number 1. But my goodness, what a game to kick off the series here, Bass. We had almost 3.5 minutes of overtime, so more than a half of a regulation. in that series. And let's take a quick look at these points as well. No big surprise, first killer. I was calling out before the series started. He's everywhere all the time, managing to top the charts there with 709 points.
Yeah, this is the first killer specialty here. When the rest of his team's playing a little bit lackluster, maybe not having the same mechanics as his opponents here, because, you know, Beast Mode and Daniel will always show off their opponents. Sometimes he's just got to step up just a little bit. However, as it stands right now, it doesn't really feel like either one of these teams has necessarily shown us everything that they have got in store. There's just a little bit more that has to be uncovered, and I feel like a lot of that is more on the side of FaZe. Usually they are a three-headed Hydra where all three of the heads can strike. Kind of felt like the only person putting solid shots on target were first killer, and again, I'm very much for if you have the hot hand, dish the ball to said player. But at the same time, there can be a hot hand out of Mist and Sypical. We just gotta wait until they get warm in the series.
Yeah, and you know, I'd be surprised if that's where the consistency was to lie here in just first killer being able to like put up all those points. Hello, kitty. You know, I think you're absolutely right in that we need to see maybe a little bit more out of FaZe. However, I always kind of consider game number one is not just a warm up for the day, right? For the series, for this event in general, but also for both teams to kind of get the opportunity to feel each other out. See how we're acting today, right? How is Daniel fitting into this roster here for version 1 so far? How have scripts been going? And then move on from there. So the hope is that we just continue to see increased competition, really, as these games go on. Right off the bat, though, as we get into game number 2 here, version 1 is going to kick it off with a shot opportunity and try to set themselves up for something more.
Oh, 100%. And as it stands right now, though, this is kind of a make or break for FaZe Clan. If I'm ever going to bet on a team to be able to reverse sweep, it would be FaZe Clan. But I don't think they want to do that to start off their day, especially against the version 1, which, like we said, have a lot to prove right now. They might have taken the first game of this series, but that's not going to be enough to convince people that this Daniel move is truly going to be the greatest one to ever sweep over the NA Nation. And honestly, it's got the potential, but that potential needs to be turned into something special. As again, game number 2 underway here. It has been version 1 overwhelmingly with the offense for the first 30 seconds. Maybe it'll pay off with a goal out of Daniel off the backboard. The pinch not going to be enough. But Beast Mode not going to let this one drop. All of version 1 diving to keep this on the FaZe half.
Mist has a bit of control here. He's got the speed. He's able to get at least a second touch off of that one as it's tipped by V1, but it's first killer with a beautiful touch. Daniel there in time. Bounces it off the wall here. It's Beast Mode who doesn't quite have the velocity or the boost available to follow up on that play. Luckily for the rest of the team, they have got plenty. Calm trying to go in on a shot there. Sypical turns it away. We're trying to keep this one on the blue side of the field, and V1 is capable of doing that as Calm goes in once again. There's the double for the flip. And not enough of a touch there. A nice little bounce over by Beast Mode. Version 1, very aggressive.
It's this pestering that they just keep on doing over and over again. The dives that in game number 1 were kind of coming back and forth on either team. Now all of a sudden it is FaZe Clan who are just succumbing to the pressure that version 1 are consistently putting against them. A good example there, Sypical finally gets a breakaway play, but it is very short-lived as almost immediately there's a player from version 1 to put the pressure right back on and keep them locked into their half. So much so that that one goes unguarded through the air. Eventually Mist will get there. But speaking of unguarded, Beast Mode, a chance to rip on target, will go for the double instead, and Sypical will need to make the save. Version 1 right now are just kind of overwhelming FaZe Clan, and unfortunately for FaZe, they've got no answer.
They really don't. They're not able to find any clears. They're not able to find any touches that actually allow this ball to be passed along to get out of their side of the field. Calm is going to be there to stop this one at the midfield line. Luckily for FaZe Clan, they are able to rotate their defense in no way. They're able to actually transition that one into a massive offensive play. Mist still trying to continue to get this one on target. V1, though, they're not going to let that control go over so easily.
Oh my goodness,
No
Beast Mode,
way.
don't you dare. If he gets the dunk at the end of that play, I'm pretty sure I'm ready to call the game already. But through the first half of this one, there hasn't really been much to call here. Finally, FaZe Clan looked like they might have a breakaway play. Sypical versus Calm, and of course Calm gets the perfect 50 to launch it straight back into the FaZe Clan half. Over and over again, version 1 just not allowing FaZe Clan any of these breakaway plays. Usually this team's so touted for their solo plays, the ability of every single one of these players to do something hyper-mechanical. They're just not even given the space right now. If they do try to go to the air, almost immediately, someone from version 1 is there to shut them down, and Jaw Jolly, I can't help but feel FaZe Clan, they gotta be thinking the same thing as me, which is, how on earth do we get past this midfield?
Well, the good sign, oh my gosh, is that when they do manage to break away like this, they're actually getting fantastic shots on goal. That one was just a little bit high. Sypical's going to find the angle on this, but Daniel is in the perfect position to turn it away at the face of the goal line there. Can Calm transition this one over? Not if Sypical has something to say about it, and not if he runs out of boost like he just did right there. FaZe Clan now setting themselves up for another opportunity. Calm finds a demo on the backside, though, gives them a little bit of space here on the pitch. It's Sypical, it's over to Mist. Mist trying to find the double touch on that one. Not going to be able to hit it on a goal, though.
And it's just over and over again. FaZe Clan finally getting their chance to pass to the net, but so far, version 1 look prepared for every single save that they've had to make. What about this one? Mist tries to send it to the backboard, but denied by Daniel. Good thing is, Sypical is there. Yeah, missed just a little bit. I'm not going to say that too many times today, or I think that the Twitch chat might just get furious. But honestly, Twitch chat, you better be enjoying what you've got here, because it's another game that could head to overtime. Last time it was a 1-1 to 2 goals that came out of nowhere. This time, if a goal comes out of nowhere, it probably wins this entire thing. 40 seconds to go. Version 1 back into the offensive half. And as it gets launched back into theirs, it is Calm yet again with an overwhelming midfield presence that will not give FaZe Clan any space.
First Killer finds a demo there. These demo plays certainly coming in clutch, but they haven't really led to anything big, and that's just because both of these teams are so vehemently focused on these defensive rotations and just trying to find any sort of a forward movement here. Mist finds a really good chance. Beast Mode, though, is going to be there on the front post just in time as we get down to the last few seconds here in game number 2. Are we going to see another overtime, or do we have another shot opportunity here? It's FaZe Clan looking to do something, but that ball just has to touch the ground for us to see OT, and there it is. Bass, 2 in a row.
Overtime game number 2. Again, not too unexpected with FaZe Clan coming hot off of the Winter Major with a lot of momentum in their favor versus a version 1 who have a lot to prove. Both these teams going to leave it all out on the pitch. The question is whether or not FaZe Clan can get a game in the series at this point, because version 1 take this, that's 2 in a row, and it's a reverse sweep necessary out of FaZe if they even want to stay here in the upper bracket. Good thing is for them, though, they've done well in overtimes before. They've had many an overtime victory, whether at the Major or in regionals, and they do it here in the SteelSeries Cup. Doesn't seem like it with 30 seconds gone and that nuisance playstyle that has been so complimentary to version 1 already taking effect here in overtime.
It certainly is. Another barrage, a great drop there by Daniel. Sypical's able to turn it away, but once again, it's Beast Mode that finds the overtime goal.
It's beast mode, but really, it is the heads-up play out of Calm here. He's dished 2 assists in a row in both overtimes. You can see that there. Sypical and Mist both in net trying to wait for the shot. Pass comes down center. They've got nothing to do but put their hands on their head and go, well, I guess we're down 2-0 in the series. Version 1 proving all the doubters wrong, showing that their new addition to Daniel is everything this team could have hoped for.
Absolutely, and we've known Daniel. Daniel's been in the scene for, a while, I think since like 2020, right? So Daniel's been around for a while, which is crazy considering how young he is, but oh my gosh, the young players are the ones that you got to keep an eye on, and there's a reason that V1 invested in a player here like Daniel. I think it's going really well for them. I love to see immediate, the cohesion coming through right away. Of course, these players have all played around each other for quite a long time, but it is nice to see that version 1 is kicking this one off very, very hot. FaZe Clan, I think they kind of feel like the rug has been pulled out from underneath them. I'm not going to lie, because as of right now, this isn't the FaZe Clan that we're used to seeing.
No, this is kind of unexpected, not only for me, but I would say for a lot of the audience here. I'm seeing the Twitch chat kind of light up with people going, man, when did Calm get this mechanical? Guys, you got to realize Calm's been the role player for as long as he has been around. It doesn't matter what role he needs to slot into. He has that capability, and you can see him even influencing the rest of his team. 5 total demos there in favor of version 1. Goes to show that the off-ball play that version 1 were so branded for long ago when it was Torment, Calm, and Beast Mode. Now, all of a sudden, it's the same idea, but you've got a Daniel who's just a little bit quicker than Torment filling in those gaps. It's this off-ball rotation that is causing this amount of confusion and frustration for FaZe Clan to where they are suffocated within to their own half. So, version 1, your game plan is working out so far. FaZe Clan, I said you guys needed to rethink after the major loss. You might need to rethink here and now in the series, because if they don't, Jolly, that's probably the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, who wants an upper bracket run anyway? You know what I mean? It's double elim. Nobody wants to deal with the top half of that bracket. So, you know what? Maybe FaZe Clan, they're just taking the easy route. They're saying, all right, you know what? We can come back into this one. We can make this a rematch towards the end of the day. And that is absolutely a possibility here as we get into game number 3. But there's also the possibility for a 3-game sweep if version 1 is going to be capable of taking this. And right off the bat, Daniel, just a little too far to the left, hits that crossbar. And FaZe Clan's 4th member comes in clutch.
My goodness, Calm dishing it more than a head chef in a kitchen right now, over and over again, looking for these passes out to his teammates. And although that first one doesn't come through, it's the second one that does. Calm may get credited with the assist on this, but his dish out ain't nothing special. It's a flip reset, but this one just a little bit greater out of Daniel.
Beautifully done right there. And you can see the attempt out of Sipical to get into position, but it was nice patience that we saw there coming out of Daniel. And right off the bat, this is the first game so far that we have seen Baz out of, I mean, we've only watched 2 of them, but it has been the equivalent. It has been the equivalent of essentially 3 games that we've seen. And this is finally the first game where we see a goal pretty early on.
Yeah, this is not only a goal early on, but it's a hyper-mechanical one at that. It's back-to-back flip resets, and again, people getting a bit surprised by the fact that Calm is one of the people pulling out flip resets here in this series. I will say this much. I don't know if I've ever said this statement. I don't know if I ever will again. FaZe Clan getting out-mechanicked by their opponents. It is a rarity you can say that when First Killer, Mist, and Sipical are on the same team. But apparently Calm, Beast Mode, and Daniel got them beat right now. Flip reset after flip reset, intricate passing play after intricate passing play. And again, FaZe Clan, just no answer here through the first couple of games.
Yeah. And they need to find an answer now, because as we were just talking about, this could be an instant drop down to the lower bracket. And you really don't want to start your day off with a sweep, no matter what, no matter who you are, especially if you're FaZe Clan. The last thing you want is for V1 to get such a great start to their day here. So last chance, at least for now, for FaZe Clan to find something. And so far, they're trying to make some of these plays. They were able to get the clear. First killer now here off the ceiling. It was an attempt to pass towards Mist there, but it's not going to come through. Mist on the back end finds a demo on a Calm, but Beast Mode gets the second touch and manages to score a second goal here for V1.
Even if Calm is getting demoed here, it's this off-ball play of where he's at least in the way. Speaking of in the way there, though, Beast Mode, my goodness, what a dunk. It's the setup, it's the dunk, it's the everything for version 1 right now, and I really do mean literally everything. Not a single thing going wrong for them here through 2 minutes of play in this third game. They have completely shut out FaZe Clan. And honestly, they've given FaZe Clan very little options. Usually it was a back and forth here through the first couple of games with more of the pressure still going to version 1. I will grant it that. But still, occasional chances like this out of FaZe Clan of where they do get the pressure. Here and now, they're not even getting shots, though. They may start to develop the pressure. They may start to get at least a little bit of offense. But very quickly, it's turned away like this, right back into a version 1 offense. And, oh boy, if you give Daniel time and space like this in the corner, it's going to do something dangerous. Unfortunately, though, pass out to midfield. Calm's got to try and wrap himself around this one as he...
Bass, you cut for a second. I didn't catch the last of that, but you know what? We can assume that it was just complimenting more of version 1 here, because even in the first 2 games, when you consider, oh my goodness, if that one went through, I would have been real sad with FaZe Clan. Luckily, First Killer able to prevent that, but first 2 games went into overtime. First game went into almost 3.5 minutes of overtime, and now when you consider only 2 minutes left on the clock, V1 has the first major lead that we have seen here. This is the first 2-goal differential that we have gotten in any of these games, and you're feeling really good right now if you are a version 1 fan, because all we are getting is these consistent setups and these barrages as well in terms of offense. FaZe Clan, we'll see if they can finally transition this one maybe into another offensive play. Yeah, not only is it where you're heading, but it's where you're staying, and it's where you might find your demise. At the end of the day, this is certainly not a situation that FaZe Clan ever wants to be in. Mist is going to find a shot here. This might be an opportunity. Sipical tries to go in for the challenge. Beast Mode comes out ahead, and now we've only got 60 seconds left in time. Daniel doesn't get the touch, but doesn't need to. He's able to get the rotation off of the wall. It goes over to Calm. Now it's between Calm and First Killer, who First Killer able to find that double touch. Now maybe a chance here to find a goal, but no. Version 1 just too dang quick.
Over and over again, Version 1 somehow beating out everybody here on this pitch. Whether it's their own players, whether it's FaZe Clan, whether it's in between, Version 1 have seemingly had a wrap on this game without a second thought. A couple of double commits early on, and then after that, it's been pretty much smooth sailing. And you could even see how much FaZe Clan are trying to figure out what on earth to do. Calm had completely unrestricted airspace there. Daniel, the same thing. Eventually, First Killer will die for it. But at this point, I think FaZe Clan, they know what's at stake. They understand the results here. Version 1 in their debut series, their first one since making a move, have swept FaZe Clan. This is quite the statement if I've ever seen one. Take your victory lap. Version 1, we'll see you in the second round.
Oh my goodness, what a series. And you know what? I'm glad that the desk was not all in favor of FaZe Clan, because then all of us would have looked like dummies here, Bass. So at least with this one, you get to look like the big brain, because it turns out that, yeah, Daniel, right off the bat to start things out for the day, able to secure so much for this team. And when we look at the points and the consistency between these three players, I think it's been like a different player that's had the most points each time. Actually, I'm lying. I think it's been Beast Mode every time. but it has been so much. I mean, we saw the assists, right? We saw the shot numbers. We saw the setups. We saw just the cohesion, the cooperation there for V1. So I'm not surprised after that game number 1 that this is how the series goes. I am surprised that it ends in a 3-0 sweep, though.
Yeah, the 3